What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is December 14th, 2023. Just 17 days left in this year before we get to 2024. Got a special guest that's going to be coming on with me. Her name is Monique J Smith. She's been involved in athletics for a while, a veteran in the game. She is also a graduate of Hampton University, also has her master's from Old Dominion. She also started up a podcast herself called The Chat in the Garden. So talking to her, definitely going to get her why of why she wanted to be in athletics. Definitely get to know her a little bit. For those of you that this is your first time seeing this podcast, my name is Chris Drummond. I am a sports reporter out here in Minnesota. And I love talking to other people in my field, which is journalism, but also love talking to people in different fields and different jobs and just getting to know them and their why, of why they pursue it, but also put intrigue in my mind to see if that's something I may want to pursue in the future or not, or something that I may want to inquire about, or someone that watches this podcast when posted, they may want to inquire about and ask these wonderful guests that I have on here other questions. So without any further ado, I bring to you Monique. Hi, Monique. How we doing?
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Just enjoying this beautiful Thursday here in Minnesota. There's no snow on the ground, so I'm thankful for that. Very thankful.
Oh wow. Well, I'm in Virginia. I understand it snowed in Northern Virginia, but it didn't snow where I am.
Okay. Okay. Got you. In Virginia, I like that. So first off, I want to say thank you for your time. I really do appreciate it hopping on this podcast. Secondly, I want to tell you why, or reiterate, I should say, why I wanted you to be a part of it. So my podcast again is about finding out your why into what your profession is and getting to know you beyond your occupation. And I love getting to know people for what they do and who they are. Obviously, I'm a sports journalist out here in Minnesota. I cover 12 high schools and a college. And I love talking to different journalists, but I also love talking to people in different occupations of genres. I know you've been involved in athletics for a lot of your career. I also know you've had a podcast. I'm intrigued to know what made you want to start that podcast. We will definitely talk about that and get into that. But we're also going to have some fun questions on here, Monique. So I definitely look forward to having this conversation with you. But that's the reason why I wanted you on, because I want to know about you. I want to know about your career. I want to know about why you do what you do.
Well, thank you so much, Chris. I'm Monique A J Smith. I am a leadership strategist for athletic departments, for organizations, and individuals who wish to advance in athletic communication or sports management careers. What qualifies me to be able to do this? I'm a 30-year veteran of athletic administration. In 1990, I became a sports information director at a small school in Virginia. Only first full-time woman to be in that position. And I think in '96 I became an intern. So now I'm 56, so I got some years of experience in this area.
Okay. Okay.
And then I went to Division One and served as director of compliance. And then the commissioner of the CIAA, Leon Carey, told me to come on back home because I interned with the CIAA when I was a sophomore in college. I came as the PR director, then I was promoted to director of championships, director of governance, and eventually a chief of staff. In 2013, they changed leadership, and I became a full-time consultant. My first client was the NCAA. I went across the country leadership workshops, and now I do that for my business full-time. And so the schools pay me directly. I service for my consultancy. I do executive coaching, group coaching,
Right.
student athlete workshops on university campuses, the podcast, And I do have a chapter anthology about my athletic administrative journey.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Well, let me ask you this. You went to Hampton University, right, to get your undergrad, and you went to Old Dominion to get your master's.
That's
Let me
right.
ask, were there any other schools that could have persuaded you from going from to those two universities to earn your degrees?
Well, I grew up on the campus of Virginia State. Um, and so my god sister worked in student affairs. She started working there when I was 5. I went to all the homecomings, all the watermelon feasts. So going there would have been grade 13. My parents taught schools 20 miles. So most of the teachers there taught in the same town as my parents. But no. So in the 7th grade, I decided I wanted to go to Hampton University. Um, I did have a dorm and a roommate for A&T, and I just didn't go. My father went to A&T, my mother went to Bennett. So I'm a
Okay,
person who make a decision. You're not too much persuaded. Now, for my master's, I started my master's program in 1991, and there were very few sports management programs then. It was University of Richmond and ODU, and I was working at St. Paul's College. So I drove 2 hours one way to class and 2 hours back. And
wow,
so I wanted my degree pretty bad. That's why I tell people all the time, it's something that you want, you can't tell me it can't get done. And I did it. So Old Dominion, I think it was like one of the second or third classes, get my degree in. And most of my classmates were people getting their masters in athletic training and needed to hire them. So it was very few athletic administrators in there. So let me tell you how far back. They
okay,
were talking about Lotus. Excel did not exist. Okay.
okay,
That's how.
wow. Okay, all right. I mean, I ain't mad at that. Listen, I gotta ask because Hampton University, Old Dominion, those are two fine establishments to go to. So I love asking that question of why people choose the schools that they choose. Um, this next question has to do with favorite things. Okay, Monique. So I got a list of questions here. You just off the rip, tell me what some of your favorite things are. Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's rock.
Oh,
Favorite
wait.
meal.
Oh,
Oh, go
okay.
ahead.
Good. No, no. I'm glad you asked me questions. That's good.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Favorite meal you like to cook?
Now you did okay until you get to the cook part.
Okay, hold on. We get that's okay because we can do an adjustment on the fly. Favorite meal you like to eat?
Okay. All right. There we go.
Hmm.
Barbecue chicken, corn, and strawberries. Basic.
Okay. I got the barbecue chicken part, but what did you say after that?
Barbecue chicken, corn, and string beans.
Oh, I like that. Okay, that's nice. Favorite concert you've ever attended?
I haven't attended a lot, but I will say my husband and I we went to a concert of Tina Marie, and it
Oh,
was one of the best concerts because she played everything. I mean, she left it all on the stage. It was really good.
okay. And those of you that don't know Tina Marie, y'all better go YouTube it whenever this posts because Tina Marie, she was fire. She definitely had some. Most people probably know Tina Marie because of Rick James. So you can kind of YouTube that and see that. But she was very good by herself as well. No
Oh my
doubt.
goodness. And I would say the one of the things, many people don't listen to albums, but I would say if you go listen to your stream, go hit that button that says album and listen to all of her stuff. The
Okay.
girl had chops, you hear me? And you'd be surprised. Back in the day, we didn't know that she was a sister. Now, again, both my parents are people of color, so don't get
Right.
it confused about the look, okay?
Right.
But with her, yeah, she don't
You
have the
now
same as I got.
you right about that because the first time I heard her voice, I was like, man, this sister can sing. And then all of a
Right,
sudden,
right, right.
I look at the album cover, and she is bright white. I was like, wow. I was like, okay, but she has some vocals, no doubt.
But you see why I had to qualify that? 'Cause I said I didn't come back yet.
I do. I do. I like that. Favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Now, now this one I've been, as a social commissioner, I would, and they had a meeting at a resort in Idaho. And I went to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I'm telling you, when I got there, it was after dark. So I didn't know my room was right on the water. I mean, like the boat was right there beside me. I had a room with all the windows. I was literally on water. It was the most beautiful situation I've ever seen. The mountains, the water. It was in October, so it wasn't too cold, wasn't too hot. Just totally beautiful.
Okay, I like that. I like that. I gotta ask you this one because you're in athletics, so I gotta ask a sports question. Favorite sport you like? Favorite sport you like to watch on TV, but also favorite sport you like to attend in person.
What would be volleyball? I have attended the national championship twice. It's just about the elegance of the game. And I believe this weekend is their national championship. Texas, and I think it's for me is the evolution of it. Because when I was one of the very first individuals to do computerized volleyball stats in the
Right.
90s. I didn't have football at the St. Paul's College, so I concentrated in the area. And I just knew a lot of people didn't even know how to do it. I was like, okay, well, wait a minute, we got to treat all our athletes the same. So by me doing that, I assisted the evolution from a CIAA standpoint of selecting the conference players based on statistics versus the favoritism of the players or the coaches. Let us go ahead and use the data to assist. You still got to get to pick and choose, but let it
Right.
make sense. Let it make
Right.
sense. I was invited to do the Olympic Festival in '95 and oversee volleyball because I didn't know how to do volleyball stats and could actually say, "Look, these stats are incorrect." So, and I actually have a student who's a grown woman now. She created her own company doing volleyball stats. So,
Okay. All right. I like that. How do you feel about the recent news? This is kind of a bonus question, Monique, but how do you feel about the recent news of the possible teams leaving the DC kind of area and moving to Virginia?
um, that's quite interesting. It's really funny you asked me that because yesterday I had my podcast. And my guest was my client who works for the Mystics. I didn't ask that question of her
Right.
because my conversation was about career paths, really, and she's in sales. Um, and but I'm not really familiar about why he would move it. I'm pretty sure it's probably about taxes and being able to use an arena, without having some attachments to. But let me tell you this. So I had, again, I told you I have a client who does tickets for me. So when she first got hired a couple of years ago, I said, let me show her how to really do this. I bought a package deal and I had a connecting event. So anybody who want to hang out with me, you come and show her how to stay on group safe. I did not know the team had moved, man. My husband, I got a hotel room, walk down, and when they talk to her, my husband is the man. And
Okay. Okay. Shout out Monique's husband. I like that.
and let me tell you, he got out of he saw a guy delivering food, hey man, take my wife down at the Southeast. Here's the money. I was like, thank God. Because I was sitting there with I got that hard time. Thank goodness I could transfer the tickets to people that my people already sitting in the seats, already taken care of. I just walked in. Said, next time I'm gonna so here's my point. You cannot count on a team to be the way you think it's supposed to be because they just move around.
Right. Right. No, I like that. I do. It was surprising when I read it, to be honest with you, that they're even thinking about doing something like that. When you think of DC, the two words that come to mind is Chocolate City. And for those of you that don't know, Washington, D.C., that's what they were referred to back in the day. At least that's what my dad tells me for sure. So, but they've always been in Washington. So, but obviously, I guess they're being close to Virginia. I guess that would kind of make sense. But to me, I don't think they should move.
See, if you live here, you understand. BET was not even in BET. I interned at BET when I was in college.
Okay.
BET was in Northern Virginia, Alexandria,
Oh.
Virginia. Then you have a metro stop back then. I had to take the metro to the bus and the walk. But you know that. You thought BET was what? DC. So look, and most everybody lives in what? PG County. All right. So it really, the way things are, you won't know where you are in. Are you gonna just say you're in the DMV? So it really doesn't, because I'm telling you some interesting things. While I was at BET,
Mm-hmm.
guess what? I couldn't watch any because I was in promotions. I couldn't even watch any of the promos I couldn't. I'm telling you how
Really?
bad, because DC didn't have cable. No, I couldn't watch what I couldn't.
Right.
But this was bad when New Edition came out with Can't
Was
Stand
it?
the Rain. Can You Stand the
Oh,
Rain?
on the Heartbreak album. You talking about the
Yeah,
Heartbreak album?
yeah,
Okay.
I was there for that one, and because I made the promos, so we got the clips before it happened, and so they came on BET before the album came out, but we had to do the clips for it, and there's and then Coming to America, we need the promos for that, so we got the clips for that before they came out. I think how long ago that was.
Okay. Okay. I appreciate that education now. I do. I love to learn. That's for sure. This next question has to do with why you started the Chat in the Garden podcast, but also talk about your specific role that you do now. Right? I know you're a advisory committee member, if I'm not mistaken, in the University of Richmond, if I'm not mistaken. But talk about your role and what you do now, and talk about the reason why you started the Chat in the Garden process, like how, or Chat in the Garden podcast, I should say. Talk about that.
Well, when you were in a leadership role, people will continue to come to you whether you have the title or not. I said people gravitate, people get things done, not the title. And so, although I left the CIAA, I'm a leadership strategist. People always ask me different questions. So I did have a publicist, Nikki Curry, who asked me did I want to be on a podcast as a host or a guest. And I'm very transparent. I have control issues. And I said I would. And plus, I majored in communication, so the podcast situation um, didn't cause me an issue. However, she called it a radio show. And I was like, this is not a radio show. I majored in it, this is not a radio show.
Right.
When I got introduced to the word podcast, I could embrace that. And so that's the one part. The other part is being a person who's always been a first, always breaking barriers. And the one thing I really enjoyed about my position at the CIAA was professional development and personal development. And I've been known to assist the women to sit in the seat of athletic women. So I was already a consultant when I was in the CIAA, different division. Most of Division III conferences were asking me, how do you make a pathway for other women? So
Right.
because I knew this, and I sat on a lot of NCAA committees and a lot of national committees, and I just saw where it was always the same people. So I said, it's twofold. One of them, I need to tell everybody where everybody is. So let me have a podcast to show you the number of Black women athletic directors.
Sure.
Because honestly, I had been on a committee, I attended a committee where the NCAA would give you money for diversity, and one Division II conference wasn't using it correctly. Because she said she didn't know where any people of color were. And I
Right.
raised my hand. I said, well, you ain't trying because you didn't ask me. This is when I was in the conference. I've always been the outspoken person, like, okay, look, you ain't even trying. So I said, okay, so it's always back in my head. You don't know where they are. Let me tell you where they are. Number one. Number two, the day of just doing a great job and hold your head down and get it done over. So I got to help the women figure out how to become more visible. And becoming more visible, you got to be confident. You see? And then you have, it's all, I do mindset work first before I do skill set work. And then you have to, then for those who season, we've got to teach you how to package it so that you can become monetized. Whether it is speaking on a panel, even if you speak on a panel for free, you should have a product. See, the magazine becomes a product. That the product, hey, get my article, so and so and so and so, I will sign the back of the room. See, I'm trying to teach them what I learned as an entrepreneur from an educator, because you need to have more than one income stream in this day and time.
I like that. I do. And this is another reason why I wanted to start this podcast. I was just sitting at home thinking, obviously pandemic wise, 2020, I was starting this thinking of an idea. 2021 is when I really got it going a little bit. I'm still fresh. I'm still kind of new. But one of the reasons why I wanted to start this podcast is, one, in journalism specifically, we need more minority voices. Whether it doesn't matter the color, we need more women voices too. Let's just call a spade a spade. We don't have enough women in journalism, and we don't have enough minorities in journalism, especially at the hierarchy positions, right? So my thing was to be able to not just talk to women, but also talk to minorities for the most part, and then also talk to Caucasian people too, not to leave them out, but at the same time, talk to the main ones to be able to give them a voice to be like, hey, this is what I do. This is what I deal with. This is who I am. Maybe somebody can watch my podcast and be able to ask them different questions. Maybe they might watch the podcast and be able to say, I want to find that out from Monique, or I want to find that out from whatever guest I had. Wow, that's a question that I probably thought of, but never would think to ask somebody, right? So that's the reason why I wanted to start this, to be able to get voices heard by guests that's on the show so other people can be able to watch it and also learn. I want to learn things too, because you never stop learning in life. So I love that mentality that you have as an educator, educating these women, because they do need more than one source of income nowadays, because things are just piling up and getting expensive out here. So I love that.
Well, people are downsizing too. You know what I mean? And it's going to even get even worse for AI. You know, they need a copywriter for you to be able to just hit the button down. So you're going to have to be able to take the specialized knowledge you know how to do and maybe put your shingle out. But I've had my podcast for 10 years now.
I love it. I do. That's what's up. That leads me into mental health. Now, obviously, when we talk about being in an industry and being in different positions and, careers and such like that, mental health is starting to become very important. Back then it wasn't looked at as it was important. But now, people are starting to get burnout in industries. People are starting to feel overworked and underpaid. And not to just say that they starting to feel that way, but again, it's starting to tie in with the mental health, and it's starting to get more traction now, more so than ever. How do you deal with your mental health? Also, how do you deal when you have people or mentees come to you and say, hey, how can I deal with mental health and this work-life balance? Because we know journalism is not a 9 to 5. Most careers in athletics is not a 9 to 5. They have crazy type hours. So how do you deal with that mental health, work-life balance, but also giving advice to others?
Well, it's really interesting you should say that, because mental health is becoming a really hot topic in athletics.
Yes.
And in me, that's one of the reasons why I wrote a chapter in this book. It's called Removing the Face. And my chapter is called Public Figure Mask, Exit Stage Left. And I wrote this before the pandemic. And I could see that the thing that people need to understand is that mostly women in athletic administrations are high achievers. And high achievers in mental health looks different than the general population. It looks like you can't concentrate, you can't find your keys, you are irritated with everyone, You don't you keep your calendar so full so you don't have to come home to anything. You don't even know that this is what's going on. So because
Right.
I told you, I do mindset work versus skill set first, because I can tell when that is the issue, because there's a lot of moving pieces. And being an athletic director is not just getting the money and shaking hands and kissing babies. It's managing people. So when you're managing people, you don't have control over people, right? So you lose control. And usually when a person who is a high achiever, who's used to getting A's, I don't even say B's, just A's and A's and A's,
Right.
that's just dependent upon you and you're successful. How do you do it when you're leading other people? How do you manage other people? Well, the first person you got to manage yourself first. And so it's interesting because I was on the phone with somebody today and yesterday, people who are from the mental health space that are positioning themselves in the athletic space. And usually talking about how can I position myself? Because the Division One says you're going to have somebody on your staff. You're going to have that. Division Two, you may be able to get a contract person. So I
Right.
was just telling, I got 3 in my magazine. I've got 3 or 4 mental health people who have books. All right. And it's interesting. I think I will be speaking at the Black Student Athlete Summit in May, uh, moderating a panel of 4 to 5 Black women in mental health who come in at different angles. And I was just talking to the person last night. One deals with trauma. People don't realize the trauma. I just don't. I'm not gonna talk about it too much. But that guy from the Warriors, there's something about this dude. We don't know what it is. There's some
Right.
trauma.
Right.
There's something triggers this brother to just snap out. Okay, and so you got to go back to that. Okay, to be able to figure out how. Because what bothers me, people are going to follow that. Like that's how I am. But no, we need to figure out how you are and put you in a position where you don't hurt yourself and nobody else. Right? There's another person who does mindset work, meaning being mindful, being present. So she makes it seem like, let's just be fun. This can answer your question. How do you do? You got several things you can do, right? Several different resources. Then I have another person in the mental health space who comes from the social work spot, which really kind of goes to what I just said. And performance.
Okay.
And performance. And it's I've been watching First Kingdom, the first season. It has Yolanda Adams in it. And Yolanda Adams got shot in the TV show. But there's no physical reason why she can't sing. There's a mental block. Let's go to the mental performance. If you watch the TV show All American, same thing. He's in therapy to figure out why he keeps dropping the ball. There's no physical part. So that's a part of mental performance. Okay? And so, and the last young lady that I know, she has worked on college campus, one of the first people in the MEAC institution, where she just went to Michigan. I think today was her first week. But
Okay.
she creates programs to let the kids be able to have. She said she would even sit out in the hallway where they have it. So to hear 45 different women in athletics for the mental health space, and that is the new growth mindset.
I like that. No, I really like that answer, Monique. I really do. That's pretty dope. Okay. Now, you talked about a summit that's coming up next May. You said next May you're going to be a part of that?
Yeah, I'm going to be in LA at the Black Student Athlete Summit. I'm going to be moderating the panel of these Black women in mental health.
Okay.
Put the proposal. I'm pretty sure they're going to say yes. It's too powerful.
See, I was asking because I'm like, okay, I was thinking about they got this Netflix thing going on out there at the same time. It's called Netflix. It's not a joke. and they had like different. It goes from May 2nd to the 12th, and it's also in Los Angeles. And they're doing different things with different comedians, actors, directors. So that's going on at that same time too. I was thinking about attending that, so I was trying to see if it was around the same time. Maybe I can pop over and see what's good with what y'all doing.
Because it is a sports related and you're a sports reporter, you're gonna want to be at the Black Student Athlete Summit because last year it was the guy who's on All the Smoke podcast.
Yeah, Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson.
Yes, I don't know what the light skinned guy. He was a speaker there. He spoke there. See who else spoke? I didn't even watch the show, but I watched the show now. The Winning Season, the guy who plays Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he actually was an academic advisor at the school.
Oh, okay.
But had what you call interview or rehearsed or tried out, whatever you call it when you do acting. He spoke for the part and got the part. And I'm telling you, it looked like he looks and acts just like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's a natural. He's totally so he talked about he was interviewed. And so then you have researchers, so some of the young ladies I just spoke about, they presented. This is why I love it. So one young lady I met one year, the next year she spoke, and she had a book.
Right.
Black Student Athlete Summit, Black Student Athlete student who was attending, loved it so much. Contact asking her athletic administrator, bring her. And she just spoke. So when you put yourself out there,
okay,
you can position yourself to be able to get additional income. But that's what I mean. Because you're not going to get paid by speaking to Black Student Athlete Summit. When you have a book or you have a product, that you can have people take you to another place.
Sure.
And so that's what I love. So being able to plant that seed with the women so they can be more of an independent soul while they are traveling this road of administration.
Okay, I like that. Well, listen, we'll definitely talk more offline because, like I said, that sounds something that's very intriguing for me to be able to check out. So definitely get some more details for you for that. But Monique, we came to the portion of the show now that we are talking about this or that. Okay, so pretty much what I do is I throw out two things to you, and you choose this or that. Are you with me?
Like Jamel Hill, huh?
Yes, indeed. You know what it is. So here we go. First one, Popeyes or KFC?
KFC. I think I answered that today.
Okay, you might be the first guest that said KFC and actually got some KFC on them. I like that. That's what's up. Okay. MJ or LeBron?
MJ all day long.
Okay. I like that. When it comes to chicken wings, do you like bone in or boneless?
Look, anything that has to be manipulated and cooked for me, we going with bone in.
Okay. All right. I'm just asking. Okay. Do you like barbecue or lemon pepper?
Lemon pepper.
Okay. I like that. Next question. This has to do with music. Would you rather go to a Whitney Houston concert or Janet Jackson?
I'm an Al Jarreau kind of girl. I ain't really down for Rita Adams, maybe. Huh? I'm gonna be honest with you. See, I still got an issue with my freshman year. Whitney Houston and Anita Baker were up for Grammy. I'm still ticked off that Whitney Houston beat out Anita Baker. You can't tell me Anita Baker ain't the bomb.
Now, listen, I don't know much of Anita Baker. My mother is a very avid Whitney Houston fan, but I do know Anita Baker had I think the song called "Giving You the Best I Got." I think that was her, if I'm not mistaken. And she also had a song called "Ring My Bell." If I'm not, is that her? No.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm off. Listen, I told you I don't know much.
You are. Well, a different person. Ring My Bell came out like maybe.
Okay. I feel you. I feel you on
I
that.
was
Okay.
in sixth grade when Read My Bill came out. I'm a freshman in college, baby.
Okay. All right. Well, let me give you another one. Would you rather see Al Green in concert or the OJs?
Ooh, OJ. I mean, I agree, and I heard him on the line. You know.
Okay.
But I agree,
Okay.
and I've been to both concerts. When I was at CWA, I did all the events, and so
Okay.
yeah, it was for 25th anniversary. It was a production. You know, everybody wanted to be in the front seat. Can you imagine having 12 presidents, let alone making one president happy? You got to keep all 12 presidents happy. Sit on the front row of an OJ concert.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Hey, I got a couple more music ones for you. All right. Which
Mhm.
which concert, hypothetically, would you rather go to? Would you rather go to a Spinners concert, or would you rather see the Whispers?
But see, all these people I've seen.
Oh, you
I've
seen them? So which one did you enjoy more? Which one did you
yeah.
enjoy?
OJ, what you say?
The Whispers or the Spinners?
The Whispers have a gospel album. I didn't see them sing that, but
Yeah.
um, the the Whispers that I do of the Spinners, but I did one thing this. We did have the Rubber Band Man, which is the
Oh
Spinners.
yeah.
We did have them at the tournament, and the commissioner, Leon Carey, had them sign the suspenders. They had like the little bands and they were singing.
They were stretching it out.
Yeah, it was a body size stretch though. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Last one on the music, this or that. Would you rather see Johnny Gill or would you rather see R. Kelly?
Now you know. Let's see, young man, I got education. If I was a dude, it's okay to ask that question. But you know, in this day and time, you put yourself in a lot of hot water asking that question. And that answers the question for you.
You did. You did answer the question for me. I get it. Listen, hey, musically, we know that man is one of the best. No question about it. Musically, okay. However, the other stuff we ain't got nothing to do with that. We ain't gonna talk about that. But
But again, if you want to make your statement, you have to be able to take it as a whole. Because when you divide it up, you are endorsing it because that becomes money in the pocket of the person who is a criminal. So,
okay, I feel it. I got two more. This or that. Which sport would you rather play? Okay, badminton or bowling?
again, that's hilarious. I took badminton in school. I took bowling.
Okay.
I think I'm better at bowling. Because actually, you see, it's funny you said that. I brought bowling to the Seattle. I was an administrator at University of Maryland Shore, which is me at Division One. When I came to the CLA, Leon Carey said, I need you to bring another women's sport. And I knew this. This is the part about being an added value to where you are, is to learn trend and be able to bring it back to your organization. And so
Okay.
I knew that the NCAA needed 40 teams to make bowling a national championship. If we made it mandatory for all 12 CNWA schools, we would take it over to 40. And then one of our teams would be on a national championship. And I knew since bowling was already on TV, the NCAA would be able to get them on national championship. So I think it happened in 2004 when it happened, the national championship. Winston-Salem State was a member of that, and I fell in the heart because everything I told the presidents happened.
Okay. Shout out to Winston-Salem State winning that national championship. That's what's up.
Oh no! They went to national championship. They didn't win.
Oh, they didn't win it. I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
stand
they won
correct.
the conference one, but the point was, if we as a conference, we would have a national presence because they
Right.
wanted to have a national championship.
Okay, I like that. Now, can you bowl? Are you a good bowler?
I mean, I can compete recreationally, but I will tell you, there are not too many people that can really compete from recreational to collegiate. Because I'm gonna tell you what it takes. If you have a program and they lift weight, it's the same thing as shooting free throws at the end of the game. Can you lift that ball and continue to hit strikes? And because actually I have watched. I'm telling you, you need to go to a bowling collegiate event. It is the most exciting. The whole crowd is involved, but you see the athleticism, all right? Because when we first started, people were bowling, fries, and, they can recreational. When they start seeing the metal that come out of this thing, one lift weights, those are the ones that keep it going.
Right, right.
Bring it back.
Okay. Last of the this or that. Now, which sport would you rather watch on TV? Would you rather watch football or baseball?
Hmm. Baseball to me is like fishing. It's very relaxing. It's between the pitcher and the catcher. And so, you said football?
Yep.
Oh, well, football. Like I shared with you before, it's killing me. I can't be at the celebration bowl because my mentee is the athletic director at Florida A&M. She was my intern, and I gave her first job straight out of college in application. However, the only consolation I have is that if I watch it on TV, I usually don't listen to commentary because I don't need you to tell me what you because it's too much influence that the common people had commentary had. But I am excited about watching Celebration Bowl on TV. Guess what? Tiffany Green is a Florida A&M grad,
Okay.
and her co-host is a Howard grad. He was a quarterback.
Okay. I like
So
that.
it'll be interesting to hear. Let's what they talk about the game, but how they do the banter. I'm looking forward to that. But no, I'd rather watch any game on my own tour.
I had an opportunity to do security for one of those because, as many people will find out, the Celebration Bowl is held in Atlanta, Georgia, every single year, and that's where I transplanted from to come to Minnesota to become a sports reporter. I graduated at Kennesaw State University. I had an opportunity doing event security for a Celebration Bowl, and it's just different. You got the different you got the bands up there they playing. You got the people there cheering. I mean, it's a different vibe. You know what I mean? So I definitely enjoyed my time because I was on the field, so I really got a chance to see the fans and the players and the bands.
Who was playing that year?
Ooh, who was playing that year? I want to say it was just a couple years ago. I want to say Jackson State.
Oh,
It was
really?
yeah. I want to say Jackson State was in it.
Okay, okay.
I want to say that.
Well, I went the first year I went. My other mentee was athletic director at North Carolina Central, Dr. Ingrid McCree. So I bought a row of tickets in support. Oh yeah, I'm serious about what I do. Okay, and so I went and bought front row seats, and but then found out that most of the people who were going to be in the area, they were already up top, in
Sure.
the yeah, and I was like, okay, that game right there came down to the wire, and it
Okay.
was painful. They lost. Central lost. I want to cry for them. I had all in my Eagle gear, whatnot. The second time I went, I had a mentee who worked for NFL, and the NFL had a program for HBCU student sports management. So I brought 6 Hampton University students. I taught sports management courses at Hampton University. So I was able to pay for a hotel room. So I brought 6 students there. They gave them a scenario to try to come up with ideas of how to carry out for different football teams. they presented it. It was so great. And I forgot who played in that one. But we also went to the game for that one. But it was a little different because I was watching the expression of my students to see. And one of those young ladies now is director of facilities for Belfast University in New York.
Okay. I like that. I want to ask this next question, Monique, and this is about advice. What advice have you given someone that is that stays in your heart, stays in your mind, that you typically tell students or mentees? And what is some advice that, or I should say, what is some advice someone has gave you that has stuck with you throughout your career?
Well, those are two different. There's two different.
Talk to me.
Yeah, I didn't have too many mentees as it relates to women in media. Okay. And I started out in women in media as a sports relation. And I'm on a college campus, I become more of an administrator. And so the one of the things I would say is the one thing I try to, it's been very hard over the years because to be honest, some of the rules have some biases to them. You
Okay.
know, so as I have become, as I have, for instance, we're talking about the portal, we're talking about made image and likeness. And if you've been trained one way, this is how playing field equal and blah, 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 blah. That's what you're socialized and know to do that. But
Right.
well, those administrators who can't get with the program are going to be the ones that are going to get left behind because we're here. And if you can't be able to navigate that for the best interest of the institution, students, and the athletic department, then you're not going to be any use. So I would say, I think I said before, be a forward thinker, lifelong learner, and be able to see trends and be able to be an asset to the university. That's something that I'm learning on now. And then the other thing that is really important with that is that as a lifelong learner, you really do have to, as I'm getting older, I can see the influences. I told you, I don't necessarily listen to commentary because I know that's your opinion.
Right.
So, like one of my students, I would say, we're not going to use the word, oh, he or she is a beast, all right? Because you are putting animalistic instinct out there. And you're not seeing a person, an intelligent being knowing how to play the game. So then when that person wants to become a coach later, you don't call him a beast and say he works on instinct for how many years. Now you want to say he's intelligent? We're never going to be able to say that the perception is going to be in your head and you have gravitated to that. The only thing that I would say I give leeway to is the word vote. Vote stands for acronym. It does not stand for the vote.
Right.
But other than that, and so when I say these things, they're like, and most of my students were football players. So they're like, oh, you're right. So I'm just saying, because that's one of the issues that you have. Listen, the woman almost died giving birth. Because the people think, again, you didn't say beast and beast. Think about beast, but they can take pain. So the people,
Right.
You don't think the woman is human. A human black woman who just gave birth said, I can't breathe. Pay attention to that. So I'm really, really aware of the influences I have that coming to me. That's just about evolving. So I would say, be really about the because you don't even know the earworms that are being put inside you. That's knowing that. We talked about sports marketing and things of that nature.
Yep.
You can influence people if you realize that. Same number. Chat in the garden. Garden means growth. grow. Be ready to be uncomfortable.
Wow. Okay. I like that. And listen, you gave some terrific answers on this podcast. That's probably the best one you gave of the interview, no question about it. Well, I don't even really call this an interview. I call it a conversation. I feel like I'm just chopping it up with a new friend of mine, which is great. This is awesome. So um, the last question I have for you is now, Monique, I need you to give me two names. Two names of two people that you think would be awesome to do this podcast as well. Who do you think would be really good to do this podcast as well? Help me get them on.
Oh, yeah. Director Florida.
You said what?
Tiffany Sykes. Let me see if I can have her picture. I just posted this the other day. Tiffany Sykes, the athletic director at where'd it go? Athletic director at Florida A&M. She's playing in the Celebration Bowl.
Okay, all right. And I know you gave me another one as well. Okay. All right, absolutely. Now that's Tiffany?
No, this is not Tiffany. Tiffany's on something else. I'm trying to.
Okay. Remind me who that is. Who is that?
Oh, this is Dr. Renee Miles. She is the athletic director at Valley State, and they just played in a bowl game
Okay.
the SAC versus the CIAA in Miami, Florida, and
Yep.
he won. But the most important thing I wanted to be able to say is she's the president of MOA, Athletic Administration.
Okay.
And that's a national. This is a national association. They meet every June, and she's the new sitting president. And
That's
so
awesome.
this is the advice for anyone of color, male or female, who wants to advance athletic administration. Community is important. Community and be known. Just to have your head down and just doing the work anymore. You better use LinkedIn. You better talk about what project that you were able to oversee, what problem you were able to fix, and then what was your thought process? Framework. That the framework and how you go about addressing the problem becomes your intellectual property.
I love it. I do. And listen, if I can find those two on LinkedIn, I definitely will hit them up and see if they got the time for me to definitely do a podcast episode, chop some bread with me, and be able to share experiences. Monique, this has been a really wonderful conversation. Feel like I've learned a lot about you, about what you do, how you think, how you move, and how you're helping others for them to succeed in the future. So I really do appreciate that. I appreciate your time. As I always do, I always ask this at the very end of my episodes. Is there anything else you would like to add before we conclude?
Well, everyone find me on LinkedIn on Monique A J Smith. That's why I like to connect. If you are all 6 of these magazines are located on Amazon, okay? And again, if you're interested in a career in athletic administration, this is the place to go. Go get it for a young person that may be interested in a career. And then I have my book is publicfiguremass.com, publicfiguremass.com.
Okay.
And I think, and my podcast is chatinagarden.com, chatinagarden.com.
Absolutely. Definitely check out that Chat in the Garden podcast. It's worth listening to. I definitely got a copy of your book, Monique. I'm definitely looking forward to doing that. So I'm going to go to that website. You enjoy the rest of your Thursday afternoon. Once again, it was a pleasure, and we will definitely be in touch.
Take care.